What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Tim Sports Talk. And today we're breaking down what we saw, the reaction right after the game for the Washington football team's Game 1 preseason against the New England Patriots. They do fall 22-13 by the end of it, but there were some good things and there were some bad things, and we're going to go through a bit of them right now. So Ryan Fitzpatrick was the starter of this game, and I thought he played well. He had a nice throw to Terry McLaurin on his first drive, hit a window. Terry ran for about 22 yards. Then you had another play on the second drive on a 3rd and 10 to Logan Thomas. He threw a bit of a fade route where only his man could get it, and Logan Thomas came down with it. And overall, I thought the starters played solid, but unfortunately, Leno on the first drive on a 3rd and 1, Barber came in to try to get that first down, and Leno ended up missing his seal block, and Matthew Judon had a clear shot at Barber, and we did not get the first down, so we punted it away on that. And then Dustin Hopkins on the second drive, we got into field goal range, and he missed a 40-yard field goal. He also missed a 50-yard field goal later in the game. He missed both of his field goal attempts, and then he only had one PAT attempt where he made it. The other touchdown, we ended up trying to go for 2 to tie it towards the end. Then Taylor Heinicke came in, and I thought he played strong as well. There was a couple of missteps, like he overthrew De'Ami Brown. He threw into double coverage to Tamarick Hemingway, which I thought was kind of weird. That almost ended up coming down to be an interception. Luckily, the defender dropped it. But overall, I thought Taylor Heinicke, he looked solid. He used his legs to get a first down again, and he threw some nice balls. He did hit Terry McLaurin as well for a couple underthrows, and I think he looked overall okay. Not great. I think out of the two, I think Fitzpatrick looked a little better, if we're being honest. And he was going against the ones. He did have the ones to play with on offense, but at the same time, Taylor Heinicke, even if you have the twos, our twos aren't bad, and you were going against their twos, and I think there should have been a clear where he played better than Fitz if he was going to try to overtake the starting job. Right now, he has a lot of work to do. Steven Montez came in to finish the game, played most of the second half, and in the beginning, he looked scared to me. He looked all out of sorts. He was very inaccurate. He was all over the place. Even when he was running, he was trying to get rid of the ball so fast. It didn't seem like he was going through his progression. He was like immediately going to the flat, and it's not like the flat had like all this room or something, so it's not like it was like a smart move. He just seemed to be scared. But he did have a 4-minute drive at the end, like 3-minute drive at the end of the game to try and tied it up. He had a 3rd and 8 where he ran for a first down. That drive started all the way on the 7-yard line, and he ended up going all the way, scoring the touchdown, throwing it to Lamar Miller. Then he threw the 2-point conversion to Antonio Gandy-Golden, which was originally called a catch, but then Gandy-Golden dropped it upon review, and it ended up being taken back. We were down 15-13. Ron Rivera decided to use his timeouts, which I thought was surprising. I thought he would have been fine with just going into the game down by 2, but he ended up using his timeouts, which allowed Ramondre Stevenson to get a 91-yard touchdown, which is why the final score ended up being 22-13. Defensively, Chase Young on the first drive, he got a good QB hit on Cam Newton, knocking the ball out of his hands. Unfortunately, his arm was moving forward, so it did not get called a fumble, but that was a nice 3rd and long where Chase Young clearly beat the left tackle, and I thought he looked strong. Overall, Jamin Davis, he ended up with 4 tackles, 1 solo, and I was a little bit worried about this when we drafted him because we all know he's an athletic freak, but there was a couple of times where he missed some tackles in college when I watched the tape on the Kentucky, and he didn't seem to be a great tackler again tonight. He kind of got bounced off of, but I'm not sounding the alarms. I'm not saying that Jamin Davis stinks and he's going to suck forever, blah, 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 whatever. No, I'm just saying that I'm just being honest. I don't think Jamin Davis had one of his best showings. Just being honest. Of course, neither did John Bostic. He had another missed tackle on Jonnu Smith where he should have been able to tackle him for about a 3-yard gain. Ended up turning into a 17-yard game. And overall, the starting defense, the first drive was phenomenal. The second drive wasn't so good. They drove all the way down, almost scored a touchdown, and ended up getting 3 points. So they did prevent him from scoring a touchdown. But this offense is not good for the Patriots. Like, Cam Newton is kind of over the hill. They doesn't have a good plethora of receivers. Hunter Henry didn't play today. Damian Harris is their starting running back, who's nothing special, and he had 4.3 yards per carry. I think our defense, they obviously, it's game 1. There's going to be a progression, and it is what it is, right? I'm not making any crazy assessment. Another rookie, our second-round pick to talk about, was Sam Cosmi, and I thought I saw a couple of good blocks from him. I'm going to break down each player individual and take a deeper dive into these guys later. This is just kind of my initial thoughts, my initial reaction to what was going on, and I thought Sam Cosmi overall looked solid. I liked De'Ami Brown. De'Ami Brown seemed to be getting open. He had 4 targets with only 2 catches, 16 yards, but both of those were clearly overthrows, not his fault. Taylor Heineke overthrew him bad on one play, and another play, I believe Steven Montez later overthrew him. So I thought De'Ami Brown looked good when I was seeing him run routes. Dax Milne, our 7th-round pick, one of them, he looked pretty solid. He was also put back there as punt returner. DeAndre Carter was our starting punt returner. A lot of people weren't sure what that was going to be, and DeAndre Carter also played a lot with the ones as far as a slot receiver goes. Cam Sims got the start in place of Curtis Samuel, since Curtis Samuel was out of the game due to an injury. And overall, I think our offense showed some promise, but they got to be able to put points on the board. You didn't score a field goal until the end of the first half, and that's not good enough, right? But they did have 198 yards of total offense in the first half, but you got to turn those into points, and they didn't do that. Second half, the offense, with Steven Montez kind of stalled a little bit until that final drive. And who else do I want to talk about on the offense? Is there anybody else that kind of sticks out? Sammis Reyes, the foreign, I think Chilean-born basketball player, played his first game of live action today, and he had 2 catches for 25 yards. I don't think he really has natural hands, which I'm kind of disappointed in. He had one where he kind of tipped it up and caught it. The other one kind of looked like he kind of bobbled it as well. I was hoping to see a basketball player who needs to be able to catch and shoot immediately have much better hands than he did. But I'm sure nerves were going. I'm sure a lot was going through his mind, trying to remember the plays. It's his first game ever. I'm not, again, none of this is an indictment on people, right? Like, we're going to see progression, right? But I thought Sammis Reyes overall looked okay. He had a couple of nice blocks. And the offense overall, I think, looked good. Who looked bad in the offense? Number 1, Antonio Gandy-Golden. Antonio Gandy-Golden was horrible. It just is what it is, okay? He had the 2 drops. I don't know why they said 1 target. And the one was a super important drop, right? He is on the outside looking in. It's not good for Gandy-Golden. Tamarick Hemingway, he looked like to get manhandled in the blocking game. He was on the ground many times. And, yeah, he got, Taylor Heineke sacked on a play. He had another one where he just got destroyed on a pass play where Steven Montez had to throw it away. So Tamarick Hemingway, who was listed as the number 2 tight end, ended up playing deep into this game, which tells me he's not really the number 2 tight end at all. John Bates had a nice catch for 19 yards, so that was good. But who else had a bad game? So it was really those 2 that had a bad game. And another offensive lineman who I thought struggled today was Keith Ismail, our 6th-round pick from 2 years ago from San Diego State. I was hoping maybe he could be a good backup center for us, but honestly, I don't think he's going to make the team anymore. I think Tyler Lawson played well at center, and I think he is going to be our backup center. Derek Forrest on defense really did not play well. He ended up with 4 tackles, but I think he had 3 missed tackles. And then he also got beat on another play where Mac Jones barely overthrew the guy. Derek Forrest has a lot to work to do on defense. Was not impressed with Derek Forrest. Anybody else on defense? What's his name? Batumi. Where did he go? I think it was Batumi. Yeah, Rotomi. Bunmi Rotomi. He played really well as a backup role as a defensive end. He was getting after it. He ended up getting a half a sack, and he almost got another one. If the defense was able to just cover the receiver for another quarter of a second, he was right there. He beat the right tackle, almost got to the quarterback. I liked what I saw from Rotimi. I still don't know if he has enough to start, or obviously not starting, but I mean to make the roster. But overall, I thought he had a really good performance. And yeah, we're going to do a deep dive into everybody. St. Juice had a good play earlier in the game where he prevented a 3rd down catch from happening. And we're going to do a deep dive later and really get into these. But overall, I thought it was an okay game. And my favorite part about this entire game, penalties was completely limited. 3 penalties for 21 yards in a preseason game is practically unheard of. I mean, that's ridiculous. Usually, you see this, 9 penalties for 58. which honestly is not that much either. But it's a running joke in a preseason game that the flag comes out so often because these players, they're trying to do too much. They end up holding. They're out of position. They false start because they're so nervous and blah, blah, blah. Only 3 penalties for 21 yards is actually huge for a great defense, or for a great team, rather. Like, Ron Rivera is having us not commit penalties. Huge. Discipline. Discipline wins you games. Jay Gruden, terrible in that department. But yeah, and I think that's where I'm going to end it for now. As I said, I'm going to do the breakdowns of each of them. Sub to the channel if you haven't already for all those. And we're going to have some fun throughout this year. The team, we got to get good quarterback play, but I think our team has a real potential to be really, really good. I do have us predicted at 9-8, but who knows? The potential's through the roof if Ryan Fitzpatrick can just play okay throughout this year. Yeah, that's it. And hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Also in the description below, there's a Discord link. Come talk some football with us in the Discord. And there also are donation links in the description below. If you feel so kind, you could donate to the channel. Washington loses 22-13. Looks okay. Got a lot of work to do. And until next time, sit!